Hello everyone. So in this video we are going to learn how to create a simple network using a Cisco packet tracer. So let's understand a scenario. So in this exercise we are going to first create a very simple network where we will connect one PC to any server which is on the internet. So if you look on this figure at the top, we have one PC which is connected to one server which is on the internet, and we are connecting this with help of modem. So we will first simulate this environment, and in the second exercise we will expand our network, in which we will add some more devices. We will create one network and we connect all these devices using a router, and then we'll try to connect using these devices to our server. And also you can see on the screen I have shown you the topology, the figures, the devices which have been used for the simulation. Along with that, there is also shown the devices and some configuration which is required for this entire experiment. So we are going to use these configuration. For example, we are using a router, and then we need to assign the IP to the router. We need to set the subnet mask. So this is what we are going to use as shown on the screen. So let's start. So this is the Cisco packet tracer, and here we are going to do an experiment. We are doing this. We are simulating our experiment in this workspace. So this is the first exercise that we are interested. So here we need one PC, the modem, and this internet structure and the server. So we'll take these four devices in the packet tracer. So the very first thing required is the PC. So we'll go to the N devices, and in subcategory we will find this PCs here. We'll put in the workspace, and then we need a modem. So we'll select this, we go here and we can take one modem, and then we also looking for one internet that is connected to the server. So we'll look for the server. So here you can see. So now our four devices are ready on the workspace, and now we need to connect it. So the scenario is that this server is actually on the internet, and we want to connect to the server using this PC, and this cable modem is actually helping us to connect to the internet. Now if you want to get the information about any of the devices, you just hover the cursor onto the device and you can find the information about. So here you can see this is the PC one. This is a PC, normal our desktop computer, and here you can see that nothing is set. Here it is not connected. You can see that the link is down and there is no connection has been made so far. So to make a connection we need to look for the wires. One thing to understand that when we connect the devices, then these devices are having different kind of interfaces. They have different kind of ports. So we need to look to the corresponding port and the corresponding cabling that can be used to connect these devices. So the first thing is we are going to connect our PC with the modem. So we go to the connection, and in the subcategories you will look to this copper straight through cable. So when you hover the cursor on any type of connection, you will find the name here. So we'll pick this copper straight through cable, and then we are going to connect the PC with the modem. So one thing to keep in mind that in order to connect, you need to just select the corresponding wire, and then you have to select the device. So here we are going to use this fast Ethernet port, and then we are connecting to this modem. Now here we have to select port 1. Then to connect the modem with this internet, you need to take a coaxial cable. So again we go to this connections, and in this connection we have to look for the coaxial cable. This is coaxial. Just click on it, and here when you click on it, you are going to connect to internet. So when you click on it, you have to look to the port 0. So port 0 will be used to connect to the internet, and then when you click here, you can select the coaxial. So coaxial interface is going to connect this modem. Now we need to connect our server to this internet, so we are going to again use the copper straight through cable. So we will select this cable again and we'll click here, and here you have to choose this port Ethernet 6, and similarly we have to select here fast Ethernet. Now we have to configure our devices so that the connection can be made, so that you can do the communication. So let us start one by one configuring all these devices. So the very first we start configuring our server. So just click on it. When you double click on it, you can get the details of the server, and here you can see many menus are shown here, and one by one we will just go through these and we will do the setting which is required for this connection. So this server, we are going to make the server as a DHCP server and also the DNS server. So first we go to the services, and in the services part we'll go to the DHCP. Before that, we can also would like to assign the IP to the server. So we'll go to the config, and then we have two areas here, global and interface. So actually there are two main areas, global and interface, and if you want to do something on the global part, you have to click on it, and then you will get these two sub options. Similarly, if you want to do some settings in interface, you have to click here and you will get the options available in interface. So first of all, we will go to the global, and then we will give the name to this. So let us we give the name as a IUT, or you can say inha.com. This is the name of the server, and then we will give the IP to this. So we'll go to the fast Ethernet, and there you can see that we need to set the IP here. So we have two options. Either you can give static IP or the DHCP, means the IP can be configured dynamically. So here we want to assign a static IP for the server. So let's say the IP that we are assigning is so you can see here 208.67.220.220. So this is what we are going to use here. So we will set this IP 208.67.220.220. So double click on it, and then we go to the Ethernet, and here we will give this IP, which is 208.67.220.220, and this is subnet mask. That means we have assigned 24 bits for the network ID. So the mask will be 255.255.255. So this is all done with the configuration. Then we go to the services. So here we will make this server to act as a DHCP server and a DNS server. So among the services, you can see that we can see this can be treated as a TFTP server, DNS server, email server, FTP, IoT. So we are using DHCP for this demonstration. So here the very first thing is you need to make this service on, so that this service can be activated on the server, and after that you need to set some default setting here. So we will write the default gateway, which is actually the IP which we have given to server, that will also act as a default gateway here. We have used 208.67.220.220. The same thing we are also assigning for a DNS server, so we will write the same thing, 192.168.220.220. So here you can see we have to assign the starting IP address. So in this range 208.67.220, we'll assume that our starting IP address will be 208.67.220.1, and subnet mask will remain the same, that is 24 bits we assigned for the network ID. Then how many, so maximum number of users will be 255 because we have assigned 8 bits for the host ID. That means you can have maximum 255 users will be there. So in our experiment we will just keep it as, let's say, 100. So here we keep 100 for example to keep a range of 100 IPs here. Then after doing all these setting here, we need to add this, and now it says pool name already exists here because we need to also set this name. Already you can see this is already here, and we want to configure our server, so we need to do the setting, and also we need to provide a name to this. So we are keeping the name here as DHCP pool. DHCP pool, you can give any name because we are making it as a DHCP server, so we are writing it as DHCP pool, and then we are going to add here. And when you click on it, you can see here that this information that we have just entered here is visible here. So this is, you can see the pool name is DHCP pool, and this is the default gateway 208.67.220, and all the information that we have set is now visible here. Now we will move to the DNS part. So in the service menu you can go to DNS, and now you can see that this screen is visible where you can set your DNS configuration. So the very first thing required is to make this active. So now this DNS service is activated on the server. Now you need to write some more information here. So the very first thing is you need to write here the name. So we are going to write here name as inha.com. It is a name which we have used, which is going to be resolved. So we want this name to be resolved by this address, and the address is 208.67.220.220. So inha.com is a name that we have given, and with the DNS service this name is resolved to this address. And then now we are going to add, and keep in mind we are going to select the type as a record. So when you click on this, you can see that this is visible here. Inha.com is saved as a record, and the IP for inha.com is 208.67.220.220. Then we will just have a look. We will just close this part, and this is done. Now we will go to the configuration and have a look on this. So here you can see this is inha.com, and if you go to the fastnet, this is the IPv4 address we have given, and the subnet mask. So this is already done. Here if you go to setting, we need to check what is the default gateway we have given. So in order to get it connected with the server, we need to assign the gateway address also. The gateway address is we can use the same range of address, that is 208.67.220.1, and their server will be using the same IP that we have given to the server, that is 208.67.220.220. So this is all done. We need to simply just have a look. Now we have just configured all the basic requirement. We have set the IP, we have made it as a DHCP configuration, we have did the DNS configuration. So now the configuration of the server has been done. Now we will move to the next part. The next part is the configuring this cloud. So just click on it. Now here this is visible. This is how we can configure our cloud. Now here, to connect with the cloud, we need two interfaces. One interface, CX, is basically for the coaxial connection, and this is for the Ethernet connection. So if you look here in the scenario, here we are using coaxial wire to connect to the modem, and here we are using this copper wire to connect with the server. So we need to put a corresponding port here, some interface that will be helping us to provide the connection. So we'll just zoom in so we can get that how it appears. Now we need to use this port. One is for a CX is for the coaxial connection, and CFE for the Ethernet connection. So before integrating this, so we need to integrate this port in this available slot. Now one thing to keep in mind, whenever we configure any of the devices, maybe router or modem or any device, you need to first switch off the device, and then only you can make the configuration. Even if you forget to switch off, the simulator does not allow you to do this. For example, if I want to place this into this available slot, it is not going to allow, because it says that your device is on, so you need to switch off the device. So we can go and switch off the device. So here you can see this is a power plug here is. So this is on, is a green light is shown here. I will make it off, and then I can do all my configuration. So the very first thing is I need to use this module, and I will put this into this slot, and similarly I can use this one CFE module, and I can keep it here. Also you can check that which module is this by hovering a mouse here. So it says that this is a cloud NM1CX, and this is 1CFE. If you want more details about this module, then you can just have a look. You can just click on any module. Not only these two, you can go any of this module, and the details will be available here. So once it is done, when you put the corresponding module into the required slot, then we need to make it on here. Now this is on, and now this is done. After that, after putting the corresponding interface for connection, now we have to go to the config part. So here you can see we have basically three main menus are there. One is global, other is connection, and the interface. So here we need to look to all these three available modules, and then we will do some configuration here. So global is basically give you the very basic settings, like what is the name to be displayed on the device. So here we keep the display name as a cloud, and then we'll go to the connection. In the connection we need to configure the cable. So you can go to the cable, and here we are connecting this device, one with the coaxial cable and other with the Ethernet cable. So here you can see that that cable is not visible here. So we can go to the interface, and in interface we will go to the Ethernet, and here we will select the cable option, and then we will go back to the connections, and here we select the cable, and now you can see that Ethernet this is visible here. So we are going to add this to and from port. So we are going to click on add. So now you can see it is visible here that from port is coaxial and to port is Ethernet. So this is all the configuration which is required. So we set the connections and the interface. Now we are going to close this, and we'll move to the modem part. So in this modem, just click on it. So here nothing much is required. We just go to the config, and in the global we just give the name of this device. Let's say this is modem. That's it, and nothing else is required. Then we go to the PC. So now let's configure our PC. So to configure the PC, we'll click on it. So you'll get this window, which is actually to configure the PC. So when you go to the module, we have the config option here. So in the global, we can give the name. Let's say the name is PC, and here we are using the cable connection we have used. Now we need to give the IP to this. So what we are doing here, we'll go to the desktop, and in the desktop we have the IP. Click on it, and now we are going to do some settings here. So we want to assign DHCP, means we want that dynamically the IP is being assigned to this PC. Now to check that does IP is being assigned to this PC or not on runtime, so we'll go to the command prompt, and on command prompt we will write the command. So if you want to check the IP of any machine, we will write ipconfig command. So when you write the ipconfig command, or even you can add here /all, it will give you all the information about machine. So when you click on it, you can see here it shows that IPv4 address is assigned 208.67.220.1 has been assigned the IP here, and the subnet mask is this. Now we want to connect to this server. So how we can check that we are connected with the server or not? For this we have a ping command. So we will use this ping command. Ping command is basically the ICMP protocol we are using, with the echo request and echo reply options are there. So we will use a ping command, and we will try to connect with the server, and if we are getting a reply back to which we can easily identify that the server is connected or not with the PC. So what we are going to do is, we are going to write here ping command, ping, and our server name is ina.com. When you press enter, you will see that you are getting a proper reply. That means we are able to connect with the server. That means the connection that we have established so far is all working. Now in the next part of this exercise, we are going to extend our network. In this network, what we are going to do is, just have a look here in the scenario. So what we are going to do is, we are going to add some more devices. So actually we are going to make a small home network, and then we are connecting all these devices with this router, and this router will connect to the internet to this modem. So let us add some more devices, and we'll create this network, and then we will try to connect all these devices and to the network, and also we will access to the server. So let's start. So we'll go back to the workspace, and what is required. So if you look here, we need one router, and we need one tablet, and one PC is already here. We need one laptop. So let us move this little here. So we need one router. So we click here, and we go to the subcategory, and after clicking here, you can get this is a wireless router. And then we need to add one laptop. So we go to this end device, and then you can see here we have a laptop here, and also we need one tablet. Okay, and now we want to keep all these in one network, and we want to connect this network by using a router. So we will be going to delete this connection. So we'll select this and just click on delete. It will be deleted. So let us arrange this in a proper way. So this is one network we are going to create. And here we use one modem. It was already there. Okay, this is how we are going to make our new network. So you can see here, this is what we are trying to achieve. we have these three devices in one network, and this is connected to the router, and router is then connected to the modem, and through that we connect to the internet and want to reach to this server. Okay, so let us do the cabling. So here we can see that these two are wireless devices, and we want to make a wired connection here, and this we are going to connect through the wire. So here we will connect our PC with this wireless router using copper through cable. So we'll go to this connection, and then we select this copper through cable. So here you have to select this, and we use this fast Ethernet port, and here also when you click on it you have to select this Ethernet. Now when you want to connect this, already we have seen that how to connect this this modem with this internet. So we need to have a coaxial cable. So we'll take this coaxial cable, and then here we will select this port 0, and we connect with this cloud using the coaxial. And you can see here that to connect this router with this modem, we will use this copper through cable, and here when we want to connect to the internet, we will use the internet port here, and here we will use this port 1. So now we are able to configure. Now before we proceed, let us have a look that what we have set here. So just have a look here, just look at this. We have 208.67.220.1 is the default gateway, and we have given this IP address 208.67.220.220. Okay, this already we have done. Similarly, we have already done the setting of this. Just quickly have a look. So here we have actually used these two modules. We have put in this slot, and also just have a look. We have changed a name here, and in this we have select this option, coaxial cable to Ethernet. We have added here, and then in the Ethernet we have selected the cable. This already have been completed. Then go to the modem. So here in the modem nothing much is required. Just go to the config and just give a name here. Now why it is required here again, already we have given, because when we have added the devices, by mistake we have deleted this device. So we have again added a device. So again you have to give a new configuration. So I am giving a name modem here, and nothing else is required. Just close this. Now we need to configure our router. So click on the router. So now you can see here that router has many ports which connect to different devices in various ways. So it is also connecting through the wired medium to this tablet. We are also going to connect wireless laptop. Also we are going to connect the PC through a wired medium. So accordingly we have to do the configuration of this router so that it can be able to connect wired devices and also wireless. So just click on it, and now this is available to you. Config, and then we have to set the LAN part and also the internet part. So the very first thing, if you want to change the name, you can just go to the global. So here actually we have two things. This global setting where you can give your name to the device and interface. We will see how the connections can be made. So in the global part we are simply giving the router. So let's say this is, or you can give this as another home router, because it is going to be act as a home network. So it's a gateway for your home network. So we'll write it as a home network. Then in the LAN option we have to configure the IP here. So IP it is showing here 192. So we actually want to give this 192.168.0.1. It's already here visible here. Even you can change the IP. if you want to give in the range of, let's say, 172.16.0.0, that is also possible. So we are using this 192.168.0.1, and again subnet mask is up to you how many network bits we want to use for this configuration, that we can use the subnet mask accordingly. So in this case we use 255.255.255, that means we have used 24 bits for the network. Okay, so I hope this is okay to you. Then we are going to move to the GUI option, and here we have to mainly work on the two parts. One is wireless and the setup. So first we move to the wireless tab, and here we will make some settings here. So here you can give a name. So you will give your name, let's say home gateway, because this router is going to be act as a gateway for us. So let's say this is a home network. So this router is basically a gateway that can allows us to connect to the outside world. And just make sure that this is enabled here, and rest all things is okay. But one thing to keep in mind, up to now whatever settings we were doing with other devices, when we write it will automatically be considered and actually saved. But here very carefully, before moving to the next step, we need to scroll down and click on save. If you don't click on this, then whatever the changes we are doing will not be affected, will not be taken into consideration. So after doing all these settings, we need to move to the setup. So click on the setup, and in the setup we have to set some values here. So let's have a look here. So we have this IP address is 192.168.0.1. It's already set here. Subnet mask is showing correctly to us. Now here this router is going to act as a gateway router, and then it is going to connect to the server, and we also assign the IP for the server. Now that server is also going to be act as a DNS server. So whenever any IP is whenever you write any URL, whenever you write any domain name, then with the help of the DNS servers, that is resolved to the IP addresses. So we need to also assign what is the IP of the DNS here. So here we are going to write the DNS as IP which we have given, and the IP is 208.67.220.220. So we'll write here 208.67.220.220, and this is done. Now here you can just have a look that here we have given the starting IP address as 100, and we allowed 50 IPs to be taken care by this gateway. So we have a range from 192.168.0.100 to 149. So means from 10 to 149 it actually makes 50 IPs. Okay. So here actually you can see that some of the machines are actually connected by the wired medium, and through some through the wireless medium. Now here we have option, either we can use Dhcp, where the IPs are given dynamically when they want to connect to the internet, or you can also give the static IP. So just go here and don't forget to click on save settings. So this is all done. Then just have a look to the config. We already did the configuration of LAN, it's done, and also the setting part we have set the name. Okay, this is also done. Now nothing else is required here. Now we'll go and configure our laptop. Now you can see here that laptop is not connected here because it is not his port is not got activated. So we need to activate its wireless port so that it can be going to connect with our wireless router. So how to set all these things? We will going to click on laptop, Now if you look to this laptop, we can see here that this is how it looks. Now this port we need to in this slot we need to use a wireless module that can allow our laptop to connect to the router through a wired medium. So what is required? We need to put this slot. This module is actually allows us to have a wireless connection. So we need to use this module and we need to put this in this slot. So how we can do this? Again, first we need to switch off our laptop. So here you can see this is on. We can make it switch off, and then we will, in this slot, we will just remove this, and just you can drop it anywhere here. Now you can see this is slot is vacant here. We can use this module, and we are keeping this in this slot. And now just switch on this. Now this is will be working for a wireless connection. So now you can see the moment you have switched on this, you can see that this is actually activated and you are allowed to make a wireless connection. But before moving to this, before we move to further, we need to do some more settings here. So what is required? Now you can just have a look here, and in the laptop we use a wireless interface and we use DHCP. So DHCP means we are not making a static IP here, and dynamically when this laptop wants to connect to the internet, one IP is assigned by this router. Okay, so going back here, we'll just go to our laptop settings. The next thing required is to go to the desktop, and in the desktop we need to go to the PC wireless. Now we need to actually connect this router with this laptop. So we'll go here, and then we will search this router, and then we will after identifying this router, and we need to connect to it. So we'll go to this connect, and all available network connection is visible here. So you can see that this is the home network which we are looking for, and this is our actually the gateway which help us to connect to the network. So we will connect to this home network. This is basically a router which is acting as a home gateway. So we'll click on connect, and now it is done. After doing this, we need to check that what IPs we are getting. So whenever you want to connect to the internet, are we getting IP or not? So we go to the command prompt, and here you can write ipconfig. So here you can see that because we have used DHCP option, so it will be assigned 102. We have seen that the router has assigned 50 range, that is from 192.168.0.100 to 149. Already we have seen. So out of this range, any of the IP will be assigned to any of the device which is in this network. So 102 is actually assigned to this laptop. Now we will check that is it possible to connect using this laptop to the server. So let's write the ping command, because ping command help us to find out that we are able to connect to any particular location or not. So we'll write inha.com and see we are able to connect or not. It will take some time. It will make an echo request, and then we will get an echo reply, and for all this process it will take some time. So we have to wait for some time, and we find that we are able to connect to our server. That means our connection is fantastic. Now because we have configured our laptop, that's why we have able to get the ping command. Now if you remember that this is a PC which we have connected to this router, and now earlier the router was not there. We are directly connected the PC with the modem, and we able to reach to our server. This is also we have added. We added the 3 devices by using this gateway. Now I have configured my laptop and I have tried to connect to my server and the thing is working here. Now the same way, if I use this tablet, I use the desktop and simply I'll use the command prompt and I will write here ping inha.com, and it will say that you are not able to connect because we have not configured our tablet. We have configured our laptop and we are able to connect to our server, and we have seen that it was giving a proper reply using a ping command, but the tablet is not able to connect because it has not been configured. So let's configure this tablet. We'll click on it and then we go to the IP configuration. Here you can see that some IP assigned. So always you have to just refresh this. How you can refresh? Just click on static and then go back to Dhcp so that it can give a fresh configuration, and we can see here that it is actually Dhcp means you getting the IPs during the runtime. Okay, so let us check that any IP has been assigned or not. So we go to the command prompt and then you can write here ipconfig and you can see here that we have assigned 103 IP to this tablet, and also it is connecting to this router as which is acting as a default gateway. Means any request will be sent to this router, because you can see this is the IP of the router 192.168.0.1. So now we will make a ping request to check that we are able to connect the server or not. So write ping inha.com and we are getting our reply back. So now our tablet is also connected to the server. The next is we will see that we are able to connect with the PC or not. So let us check the settings of the PC. So go to the IP configuration and again we have to just refresh. Just click on static and then go back to Dhcp. It's always good to refresh. Go back to configuration. Here we have already, you can change the name, you can give any name, let's say desktop or something, whatever you want. This will be Dhcp. Default gateway is 192.168.0.1. that means default gateway is a router. This is the IP of the router, and this is a server. This is the address of the server which I have already given, 208.67.220.220. and if you look to this Ethernet, you can see that we have given the Dhcp. So it's already done. Now we'll go back to the command prompt and see that what IP has been given here. So we'll write ipconfig to check that is IP has been assigned by the router to this machine or not, and we can see that it is assigned 192.168.100 is IP assigned to this PC, and default gateway is 192.168. This is the IP of the router. So now we'll write the ping command inha.com and see that yes, so we are able to connect. So we have seen that how we can use a packet tracer to simulate our networking environment, and in this exercise we have seen that how to connect one device to the server which is on the internet, and also we have created a small network of devices which is connected through a router which is acting as a gateway to the internet, and we have seen that what are the things required to configure these devices so that we can utilize the communication on the internet. So this is all for this video, and I hope that you have understood the basic communication that are actually done using the devices on the internet. Okay, thank you very much.